The crisp air of an East London morning was pierced by the shrill wail of sirens, their echoes bouncing off brick facades and cobblestone streets. A woman in her 50s lay lifeless in her own home, the victim of a brutal attack by her own two XL bully dogs. The usually tranquil street buzzed with a morbid curiosity. Whispers circulated like a phantom breeze, carrying fragments of information and speculation. The victim, a familiar face in the close-knit community, was known for her warmth and kindness. The normalcy of the previous day stood in stark contrast to the horror that had unfolded behind closed doors. The day preceding the tragedy had dawned like any other, the mundane rituals of daily life playing out under a sky tinged with the promise of spring. The victim, described by neighbors as a devoted dog owner, was often seen walking her two XL bullies, their imposing figures a common sight in the local park.
Witnesses recall a sense of normalcy, the woman going about her day with her usual cheerful demeanor. A shopkeeper remembers her familiar smile as she picked up groceries, her dogs patiently waiting outside. The victim's home, now a crime scene, stood as a grim reminder of the fragility of life. Each neighbor grappled with the disturbing reality, their minds replaying every interaction, searching for any sign of the horror that awaited. The piercing wail of sirens shattered the stillness of the early morning hours, their urgency echoing the gravity of the situation unfolding within the walls of the victim's home. First responders, accustomed to the city's rhythm of emergencies, were met with a scene of unimaginable chaos. The air hung heavy with the metallic scent of blood, a stark reminder of the violence that had transpired. Paramedics, their faces etched with a grim determination, rushed into the home, their training kicking in as they fought to save a life already lost. The community watched in stunned silence as the victim's body was carefully removed from the home, a somber procession that marked the transition from tragedy to investigation. The street, normally bustling with life, was eerily quiet, the silence punctuated by hushed whispers and gasps of disbelief.
The investigation began immediately, a race against time to piece together the fragments of a tragedy that had shaken the community to its core. Animal behaviorists were brought in to assess the dogs, their expertise crucial in determining what may have triggered such a violent act.
Forensic teams clad in sterile white suits moved with methodical precision, their every step aimed at uncovering the truth behind the attack. The victim's home, once a sanctuary, was now a crime scene, its walls holding silent testimony to the horror that had unfolded within. Interviews with neighbors and witnesses were conducted with a quiet urgency, each recollection a potential key to understanding the chain of events that led to the tragedy.
In the wake of the tragedy, a palpable sense of grief and disbelief settled upon the East London neighborhood, a stark contrast to the vibrancy that usually characterized the close-knit community. The victim's absence left a void, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the unpredictable nature of fate.
Neighbors gathered on doorsteps, their faces etched with a mixture of sadness and fear, their voices hushed as they shared memories of the woman who had been a familiar and welcome presence in their lives. Conversations revolved around the safety of their own streets, their own homes, their own pets. The incident sparked debates about responsible dog ownership, the need for stricter regulations, and the importance of recognizing the signs of aggression in animals.
The tragic death of the woman in East London ignited a citywide conversation, a collective call for action to prevent such a horrific incident from ever occurring again. Animal welfare organizations stepped forward, urging for responsible dog ownership, highlighting the importance of training, socialization, and recognizing the signs of potential aggression.
The incident prompted a review of existing dog control laws, with many advocating for stricter regulations, particularly for breeds known for their strength and potential for aggression. Beyond the calls for legislative action, the tragedy sparked a wave of introspection within the community. Dog owners found themselves questioning their own relationships with their pets, reevaluating their understanding of canine behavior, and seeking out resources to ensure the safety of both their animals and those around them. The tragic incident in East London left an indelible mark on the community. As the news spread, neighbors gathered, sharing their grief and shock. The sudden loss of a familiar face in such a violent manner was hard to fathom. One neighbor, visibly shaken, recounted the harrowing sight of paramedics performing CPR on the victim in her front garden. Another spoke of the chilling sounds of barking during the attack, and how they had previously warned their child about the potential danger of the XL bully dogs. A third neighbor, who arrived after the incident, described the scene filled with emergency vehicles and the solemn faces of the police officers. The community was united in their sorrow, each person grappling with the reality of the tragedy that had unfolded so close to home. The attack has renewed the debate on the safety of XL bully dogs. The breed, known for its strength, has come under scrutiny, with many questioning the adequacy of current regulations. This incident, believed to be the first fatal attack by XL bully dogs registered under new laws, has sparked a call for stricter measures to prevent such tragedies in the future. Beyond the policy discussions, the community's response has been one of introspection and a deepened sense of responsibility. Dog owners in particular are re-examining their relationships with their pets, seeking better understanding and training to ensure the safety of their families and neighbors. As the community mourns, there is a collective hope that this tragic event will lead to meaningful changes, ensuring that such a devastating incident never happens again.